Greetings, my dears. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about my top decks of all time. Now, these are decks that are just close to my heart, my favorite decks, the ones that I think I couldn't do without. And I just like to begin without further ado. This is not in any order, by the way. They're not in any order. That would just be way too hard. I cannot put myself under that kind of pressure. And I just feel like it wouldn't be fair. They're already the top. Just let's leave it at that. It's been brought to my attention that this deck, I don't think I've ever featured it on the channel. I don't think I've really talked about how much I really love this deck. And so yeah, we're gonna start with this one. It is a Llewellyn deck. It is my favorite Llewellyn deck. But yeah, we can get into that in a second. So it is the Mermaid Tarot. This is, interestingly enough, we're going to start with the Ten of Swords. So yeah, hopefully that's in good view. You can see that. But this deck is it's the Mermaid Tarot. It is a Llewellyn mermaid themed deck. Is that gonna be okay, there we go. I think that's a good glare-free angle to show you. So what I love about this deck, I mean, it's Rider-Waite-Smith based, so it's very easy to read. I love the theme, and I love what the creator has done with it. Oh my gosh, can I remember the creator's name? I feel like I remember the artist, but I can't remember the creator. I know who it is. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway, is it gonna come to mind? Please, please, please do. Anyway, what they've done with the suits is incredibly beautiful. Oh my gosh. I love whales and I love humpback whales. So anyway, I love what they've done with the suits. So the fire suit is I don't know, you'd think it would be really hard to create this underwater deck while also showing the various suits visually, but this deck does it so beautifully. The fire suit is so fiery, it's beautiful, and it's based on, I don't know if it's beyond Hawaii, but I know that Pele is in here, and it's, Pacific Islander based volcanic islands, and it's incredibly beautiful. I just love it so much. And the the sword suit is Arctic, and so you can really see the coldness of it. It's very icy. And the pentacle suit, oh, there she is. The pentacle suit is what is it called? Lakes and freshwater areas. Here's another one of the Arctic scenes, and here's a couple of pentacle, or are there pentacles in here, right? Gosh, I should know that. Yeah, so I just love how, and then obviously the water suit is more blue and, easier to do, but I feel like those ones where it's a little bit hard to differentiate when you have a deck that's pretty much completely all blue. How do you make that? This is one of the most gorgeous Ace of Wands. I just love it so much. And I love the emotions in this deck. I love the expressions of the characters. I love the colors, the light. It's just so gorgeous to me. It's just, I love the beauty of it. And look at this page. Oh my goodness, they're just so beautiful. And honestly, it has, I don't know if I've shown it, but it has one of my favorites. So I love the lovers in this card. I feel like it's a really good depiction of just, I love the person in the mirror. It's one of my favorite ways of looking at the lovers. But a couple of special major arcana cards that I love is the Hierophant, and it's kind of one of the cards that really pushed me towards getting this deck originally. I just really love this depiction of this historian as the Hierophant, this person who takes the history. It very much reminds me of the book The Deep, which I read earlier this year. And I have this like headcanon that the Hierophant and the Hermit are siblings. I don't know, there's something about them that just feels so familial to me. So I feel like this would also be a really great deck for creating like stories and characters, and it feels like a world of its own, that's sort of not too different from ours, but like a different realm. And I really love that. Where is the Hermit? Okay, I can't find the Hermit, and maybe that's, oh, because there's a whole stack of cards right here in front of me on the table. There you are. I don't know. To me, they're siblings. Like, that's just the way that I see them. I see them as siblings. I hope you're seeing that well. I apologize if not. But yeah, it's a stunning deck. It is one of my favorites of all time. It's one of my favorite, you know, it's easy to say like one of my favorite Llewellyn decks or one of my favorite mass market decks. It's just clearly one of my favorite decks of all time. I just feel like it's a really great all-arounder, and one that you can pick up for any reading anytime. And it doesn't really lean in any direction while having a theme. Obviously, you know, it leans in the mermaid direction, but it doesn't lean in any like, oh, this would be for career-driven readings or love or relational readings or, you know, really deep spiritual readings. Like, I feel like it could kind of do anything. It just depends on the energy that you bring to it. It's going to mirror that back to you, which obviously hopefully all decks can do, but I just feel like it has that basis through the artwork already. But yeah, so that's the Mermaid Tarot. That is one of my top decks of all time. Okay, so let's see, what am I going to do next? Also, after all that, I forgot to say the artist is Julie Dillon. That's what I remembered. But I did remember that the creator's name is Lisa Robertson, which I know that Lisa has also created other decks. I can't remember the other names of them. I don't know why I even mentioned it, but but those are the artist and creator of that deck. Also, I will say probably the reason why I have such a connection to the Mermaid Tarot and the Volcanic Islands and the connection to Hawaii and Pele is because I'm also from a volcanic island. Like, so there's something about that that just makes me feel connected. And I'm probably never gonna see not never, but highly unlikely to ever see any of my country and culture on a deck. We're just so tiny, you know. But anyway, I would have to probably create that myself. And I don't know that I want to do that. But anyway, that's the story for another day. Yeah, so the next deck I think is very expected. Let's see, if there's one deck, if you could guess it, I don't know, say it to yourself. I guess you could write it in the comments too. But like, I feel like this one's kind of obvious. And it is the, drumroll please. Okay, I'm getting a little too dramatic here. The Heindel Tarot. Yeah, this one's quite, oh my gosh, we're starting with the Ten of Swords again. What's going on here? Also drinking white tea once again, and as usual. One of my favorite cards in the deck, the Four of Stones, one of my favorites. Made me actually fall in love with the Four of Discs in the Thoth as well. But anyway, so yeah, this is the Heindel. I'm not even sure what to say. It's kind of obvious and well known that I love this deck, if you've seen my other videos. If not, then let me tell you, I love the Heindel deck. I mean, the artwork is absolutely stunning. I love the fact that there are cultural roots in the quartz. Yeah, so in the fire suit we have like Krishna, we have Kali, we have Brahma, we have Radha, and in the cup suit we have European figures, like Odin, which they're not in front of me. Those ones are in front of me, so it's easier to kind of just show them right there. But yeah, we have Odin, we have Venus of Willendorf, we have Brigid. Here's Kali. This is one of the most, I think, the most beautiful representation of Kali for me personally in a deck. I just And by the way, this is my vintage copy. The softness of it is so lovely, and there's a luminescence about it. It's very earth based, has a femininity to it. By the way, the swords are in Egypt, so we have Ra, we have here we have Nut, we have Isis and Osiris. And if you also know, Osiris is the key to my heart. So and I love his depiction in this one too. It's one of my favorites in any deck. And then in the stone suit, we have the West, which is North America, Native American, indigenous figures. So we have, as you just saw, we have Chief Seattle, we have White Buffalo Woman, we have, oh my gosh, is it, now I can't, I'm going to say it wrong. Gosh, Spider Woman, jeez, I could not. I was thinking of everything other than that. I was like, Spider Mother? Gosh, embarrassing. Anyways, yeah, so I love the softness of this deck. And it was the video, I'm gonna link it down below, but there was a video made by someone who really went through sort of the unexpected and like hard, I don't know how they described it, but it was like a video on like the little details and things inside of the Heimdall Tarot that really made me fall in love with it and purchase it in the first place. And I'm so glad that I found that video, because it just shows so much love and appreciation for all of the intricacy of this deck. And there's two books for this deck, one for the major and one for the minors, and they're written by Rachel Pollack. And so they're very beautifully written, and like I love all the faces and the eyes. As you can see from the back, it features an eye with a sty in it, and so there's a lot of commentary on humanity in this deck, and a lot of emotions around our collective issues and our myths, and this sort of hope for us for what we can do to heal and thrive moving forward. But it doesn't shy, like I said, it doesn't shy away from our issues, and it really prioritizes the rise of the feminine, and I really love that about it. So yeah, I think it's a really lovely deck, and I mean, I would go absolutely nowhere on the planet without it. Like, okay, would I travel with it? Have I traveled with it? I haven't actually traveled with it, but I'm saying, like, if I were, you know, if where I'm living, where I'm at, you see me, this is it. I just thought of, like, I guess I was thinking, like, if I moved internationally, right? Like, that's kind of the way I was thinking. I was like, if I move out of the country and I had to, like, really pare down my collection, like, these ones absolutely are coming with, and then everything else is sort of optional. These are not optional, is pretty much the approach that I'm taking. But yeah, I could go on. I don't even have all the words. The majors, oh my god, I didn't show you the majors. Okay, actually, I'm just going to show you some of the majors. The reason why is because I've been doing a thing with it, which I'm going to make a video about really soon, because I'm almost done with the thing that I've been doing. But the majors, absolutely stunning. So much detail and richness. Like, look at the layers in each image, right? We have these shoots here. We have the bird. The eye looks like the lens of a camera. We have the ferryman back there. There's so much to look at in every single major arcana card. This one, the wheel, yo. I really, really love this Wheel of Fortune. I really, really, really love it. Like, it's so good. It's so good. There's so many faces, and I just love, I love everything. I love everything. And I love, this is one of my favorite Ace of Pentacles as well. Well, Ace of Stones. I love it so much. So much. It's so good, y'all. Have I convinced you that it's so good? I love it. I love it dearly. Yeah, I love it. Oh, I could go on. And I love this Chariot. But I won't go on anymore. I won't go on. Let's move on. Oh, okay. That's a lie. That's a lie. This is the last one. some of the like images are kind of like weird and they kind of make me think twice. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I kind of like that. I don't know. I like a deck that makes me think and that makes me work a little bit, you know? So most of these decks are going to be quite heavy as far as how much work and symbolism and energy they require you to put in. The Mermaid is probably the easiest reader of the bunch. Yeah, definitely. Anyway, next, let us look at the one that I said in the intro to the video that I talked about in my last video, which is a new deck that is one of my top decks of all time. Since I got this deck, I don't put it away. Like, it's always out. It's the Ritual Tarot. It's always there. You know, I've had my journey with it. I didn't want it. I got it. I love it. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look what's here. That's so weird. Why is the Ten of Swords first? And that's so weird. I don't know what to think of that. Let me know what you think of that, if you have any thoughts, because I'm a little bit flabbergasted. It's a collage deck. It's beautiful. I love the... It feels archaeological. It feels anthropological. Is anthropological? It's definitely a word, right? Like, it makes sense that it's a word. I've just personally never used it. But yeah, there's a heavy use of old, what's the word I'm looking for? Artifacts and figures, excuse me, statues and religious iconography and nature landscapes. And I feel like that's just a really beautiful mix for me. I think maybe, like, I love the borderless nature of it. Every time I see this card now, I think of Sylvie from Tarot Magpie, because I know it's one of her favorites in the deck. But yeah, I find it really interesting that it's borderless and it's bigger than regular tarot size. This is the marked edition, by the way. I think it tends to be a little bit, I think, busy on the table. But, you know, I take it for what it is. It was a little bit hard to read at first, but once I got comfortable with I think this deck really helped me to sort of understand collage. It's not, like, some cards are more sparse and some cards are more, you know, abundant with imagery. This is a perfect example, the previous card versus this one. And so you can really... It taught me to sort of, for cards like that, just to kind of focus on the first thing that your eye, you know, touches, and then go from there, or sort of the general feeling, colorway, shapes that catch your eye, things like that. It's funny because this card is overwhelming. This deck, I keep saying card. This deck is overwhelmingly blue, which is really interesting to me. And it makes me wonder. And I think that's what I love about this deck so much, is that it makes me wonder, and I feel like there's going to be no point where I'm going to reach the end of what this deck is all about and what it entails. And like I just said, I think that's what I love about it, and I think that's what makes it extremely versatile in a different way than the Mermaid Tarot. The Mermaid Tarot is versatile in that it's very standard, and so it can, you know, be useful for a plethora of things. Whereas this deck, it's sort of very specific, but it's complex in its specificity, which makes it it's very in depth. It feels like some that you could sort of plumb this cavern and you'll never reach the end of it, which is a little bit intimidating. And I think that's what made it so hard to read at the beginning, was just like, okay, what direction do I go in? Like, how can I harness the large energy of this deck in order to be able to read it? I don't think it's one that could, you know, really even wants to be used for any sort of thing. I think it's very temporal or temporal. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it sort of has this thing about like either I'm encapsulating, I'm temporal in the sense where when you use it is very time specific, or it's encapsulating it. Like I like to use it to encapsulate a time period or to speak on very vast, larger concepts and ideas. It can be action oriented in context to those things, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's like a daily reader or like I don't think I've ever used it for daily draws or anything like that. I'm sure it's doable, but I would use it for like a monthly draw, like something to encapsulate a month or to encapsulate a week as opposed to a singular day. I feel like the energy is a little bit too big for shorter spurts of time or sort of short-term questions. Does that make sense? I love this Lust card. Actually really do. Like this Hierophant card as well. Definitely has a little special place in my heart. Yeah, this deck, I use it in connection with Anubis and other Kemetic deities. So yeah, I made a video on the moon card, or that features the moon card in this deck. So yeah, that is the Ritual Tarot. It's really stunning, and I feel like I fall in love with it more and more every single day. Which is funny to say that because I just said that it's not like a daily deck, but I use it daily. You know what? I sound ridiculous. I use it daily because I'm sort of checking in on big things. That's what it is. But, you know, if I contradict myself, very well, I contradict myself. I contain multitudes. What can I say? I'm a contradictory person. I don't know why. It's not in any order, but I'm just like micromanaging which ones come next. Because I don't know. It's just a vibe thing. This is the Dust Onyx. I have it in my Lonely Dreamer bag, which is kind of unfair and kind of sad. I do love the deck, but I remember the bag came in way before the deck, and so I just decided to put this deck in it, and so it's been in there ever since. I feel like the Lonely Dreamer it's way too small to go in there, and the box, it's meant to hold the deck inside the box, and I don't do that. The box is too big for me, so it just kind of worked out that it's gonna have to be a bag for another deck. But anyway, so this is the one. This is the Dust to Onyx, and okay, so we're not starting off with with the Ten of Swords for this one. This one we're starting off with Judgment. Super interesting. A beautiful Judgment card. I really love this Judgment card. And if you can see the spot gloss on this one is, I love it, and it also has the gold in the titles as well, and then the border. So every card has spot gloss on it. It's a matte deck though. Yeah, I feel like this deck will just always have such a special place in my heart. So this is the full size, and I also have the travel edition, and it's just incredibly deep and loving, caring, thoughtful. Yeah, those are the words that come to mind. It has so much emotion packed in, but it's not an emotional deck. It feels also very intellectual as well. If you know, I definitely feel like the energy feels very similar into like how I would approach it and how I feel like it wants to read, like the Ritual. So I find that very, very interesting now that I'm thinking about it. It's not something that I realized before. Yeah, it just, I think I said, I forget which video it was, but I said recently in the video that it's like, oh yes, it was my dark decks. I'm like, it's a friendly, it's a deck that's, you know, for anyone, but it's not like friends with anyone, something like that. I just remember saying that, and I think, yeah, I really like the way I put that, even though I can't remember exactly how it was. What I love, and I love decks that do something very, very cool with the chords. It's something that I really appreciate, because I kind of love the chords. I think they're my favorite part of a deck. I think maybe because they're maybe a little bit harder to read at times, depending on the reading, like they can be a little bit trickier. And so I find it really, I really like to see what a deck creator does with them because of that sort of variability in how, you know, one might read a court card. So what I was saying was, oh, and I love this one, so this is a perfect one. I haven't memorized who they are. So what it does is, or Courtney, what Courtney does is, she paints the face of a person, like a real life person, and then also puts in collages the eyes of another person into the image. And then in the guidebook, she talks about the astrological chart of those people and relates it to the meaning of the card. And so it's a really great way. So like if you struggle with court cards, I think it's a really, really cool approach and helps to sort of ground the understanding of these energies. The only downside to that is like they're obviously very specific to a real life person, and so sometimes that can be a little bit maybe too specific. I sometimes feel that way, but it doesn't deter me. At the end of the day, I think maybe because I haven't memorized all of the characters. I love this one because I know it's Missy Elliott. Like I'd never forget. There's some of them that I just never forget. Maybe because they're just a lot clearer to me, or maybe I have a deeper connection with the person in the image. But yeah, I love the faces and the stories in this deck. It's very much a storytelling deck. It feels very much like the Hierophant in the Mermaid Tarot that I just showed. I really like this Moon card as well. Yeah, I love the darkness of this deck. It really just leans into the dark, and I love that. Okay, I'm going to talk about the courts just a little bit more, because when I see them, I just feel they're so evocative. I feel like this deck as a whole is so evocative. I love this. I love her. I love her. I feel this. I believe those are Laverne Cox's eyes. I hope I'm not wrong. But anyway, it feels like Laverne. It's not Beyonce, is it? It's got to be Laverne. Anyway, I don't know. I'll double check. Maybe I'll put it on the screen. But yes, with this Mama Coin, right? It's Mama Coin. Yes. With this Mama Coin, I feel loved. I feel protected by the strength of this mother. I feel like she has something to teach me, and it's not like it feels very, there's a strength that comes through with and this is another deck that honors the feminine, honors women, and I really, really like that. I really, really like that and appreciate that about this deck. I think like the Heindel, it, you know, in the guidebook, the top of the suit, if you will, if you look at the courts as hierarchical in any kind of way, I think it's hard not to, at least for me. Like, even though I try not to, it's hard not to. So even in that situation, I like that they put the you know, the more feminine figure, the queen, the mother, the mama, whatever the case may be, at the top of the suit. I really, really value that because I don't know, for obvious reasons. But what I love is this card. This, for me, is a special card that I always say should be in every deck. It's a scrying card, and I just think that's super cool. And it's very inspiring. One of my favorite cards in this deck is the, I don't know why I'm mentioning it, because now I have to find it, and I've trapped myself, is the 6, oh, I do want to show Queen Mother, though. Very, you know, I always say I like to see a Black Empress, and this deck is, of course, going to do that. I love that the emerging one is really stunning to me. So this video feels very much like not just a conversation, but a showcase, and just so much, just a video of love, and me just sharing what I love. Oh, this one's got to be Beyonce. say? Oh gosh, now I'm just talking shit. I don't know. Making shit up. But anyway, so, and isn't that not the Queen of Wands, right? Like, or Mama Staff. Like, is that not the energy? Like, it's very, I feel like it's very great at, which, you know, I would hope so, but very great at doing the court cards in a very unique way. Yeah, one of my favorites is here, the Six of Gourds. I just get it. Which, obviously, how could you not? It's the Six of Cups. I mean, it's not hard to get, but there's just something about it that just, it speaks to me. Interestingly enough, I would say maybe, I was going to say my least favorite card, which is not fair, but, you know, I did say it, so I'm going to finish the sentence, is the Seven of Gourds. But maybe I need to go on a journey with her. Yeah, this is just, it's an incredible deck, and there's nothing like it in my opinion, and that for me is the reason why it's always going to be such a special deck to me. It's kind of one of, I think it's one of the first decks that I got that was made by a Black creator, like, for us, and I can just feel the love. Like, I don't know. I love it so much. I think Courtney did an incredible job. And I think the deck it's historical to me. So yeah, that's the Dust to Onyx Tarot. I mean, there's so much more I could say, but I'd be here all night, and we don't want that. All right, so I think we've got through 4. We have 4 more. Like I always say, there's a point in the video where I'm like, all right, let's keep it moving. And this is that moment. Next we have, I always start opening the deck before I'm finished. Next we have the Spirit Keepers Tarot. This is the Revelation Edition 2nd printing. So yeah, I think I've said this in a video, that I'm doing I'm going through the Book of Readings with a friend of mine, and so, you know, we meet and we go through the readings in the book, and so I've just been on this long-term journey with the deck, getting to know it, doing readings, getting to know myself through it. And oh yeah, so okay, the pattern of the Ten of Swords is over, but what's interesting about that is that actually in one of the most recent readings I got the Ten of Swords, which is the Destroyer, for a card that is meant to represent what or who I love and what I'm passionate about, which is really interesting. Benebell, at least in the Little White Book, talks about the Ten of Swords as spiritual catharsis, and I feel like that's really on point. I do have an affinity for spiritual catharsis. I really do have, and it's funny because even more so that the Ten of Swords in the Mermaid Tarot is the one that sort of, one of the ones that pops into my mind when I think of what the Ten of Swords feels like to me. It feels like the ending and a beginning. It's for me, one of the most liminal cards in a deck, and liminal spaces, initiations, and rites of passage are my favorite things, and what I'm extremely passionate about, and have become so much a part of who I am and my view on the world and my spiritual sort of lens. So yeah, I find that really interesting. I forget even why I brought that up again, but so anyway, the Ten of Swords is top of mind for me. Maybe it's because you know, somehow, some way I was supposed to talk about that, but who knows? That's really cool. But yeah, this deck is I don't know. What is it? It is a feat of cultural and spiritual integration. Yeah. I feel like if you've heard of this deck, you know it combines so many different spiritualities, stories, myths, cultures, and I'm still at the beginning with it, but it's just one of those decks, especially because I'm doing the Book of Readings, it's just one of those decks that I know is going to stay with me forever, because I'm going through and I'm intentionally reading with this deck and doing these profound, deep readings that are about me and my path. And, you know, I don't know, I just think I love the way Benebell has set up her, obviously her deck, but also even the way that she does readings has very much inspired me, because I feel like I approach them very similarly. And I've said in a previous video that the Prisca Theologia, or if that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry if it's not, but is sort of very much kind of how I've always approached my spirituality. It is very, I don't know if the right word is syncretic, but that is the word that comes to mind. But and I seek that sort of integration and exploration, and I feel like this deck does that so beautifully. And oh my god, my dream. It's my unicorn deck for sure. It's like I didn't even know fully what a unicorn deck was until I realized that this was kind of my one, which is the first edition of the Spirit Keepers Tarot. Would die and come back to life, 10 of Swords style. If I got that deck. Oh, anyway, Benebell's art is just stunning. I love the way that she does textures as, like, she does textures as color. So I think that's the way that she mentions it in one of her blog posts where she talks about the deck, is that she, instead of like doing a color on a part of, you know, the image, she colors it in with I'm sorry, with the texture. So I love that. I mean, texture is such a really good word and idea for what this deck feels like. It feels very textured and layered. Yeah, I love her artwork. I just think she has created something extremely magical, expansive, and that would stand the test of time. And it was funny when I said that the Dust to Onyx was historical. I feel that this deck is also that. I mean, this is another great example of a very historical deck. And I mean for both of these decks, not only in what they depict, but also in their existence. I feel like they are historical in that way. So yeah, that is the Spirit Keepers Tarot for all of these decks. There's so much more I could say. I could do a 2-hour video gushing about each of these decks, and it wouldn't be enough. Oh, perfect. I knew there was one more thing that I had to show, and that is the Destroyer. You know what? Let me read it. I'm going to read the little white book. I don't know. It just feels right. I feel like every video has to have a little bit of a detour somewhere in it, and here we are. Okay, so here is the Destroyer in the Spirit Keepers Tarot, which is the 10 of Swords. That is the Destroyer, right? Okay, good. A Tengrist, I'll show it to you on screen so you can see it. A Tengrist shamaness channels the Destroyer of Obstacles. We are seeing her physical and spiritual forms merging, and so she appears with 6 arms. The Destroyer spirit might initially feel ominous, but it represents a spiritual catharsis. A catharsis is a sense of purging or purification. In Platonism, a catharsis is needed before you can advance on to receive esoteric knowledge. There is treachery, biting the hand that feeds. A force of uprising and rebellion comes through in the 10 of Swords. This is an omen that you are to be a disruptor. But powerful figures would rather you not make waves or stir conflict, so they try to hold you back. Disruptors facilitate progress and change, but at the cost of peace. Writers are familiar with the instructive maxim, kill your darlings. The phrase refers to extraneous prose that only serve to amplify the author's ego, but do not substantively serve the narrative. Thus, in the revision phase, such sentences ought to be removed from the manuscript. Likewise, the 10 of Swords is about excising from your life that which does not advance your sole purpose. Amen to that. Thank you, Benebell. Thank you. So yes, that is our wonderful, amazing, and I will show you this because this is a card that I'm doing a little bit of a deep dive into right now. Yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Speaking of wonderful, I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost forgot not this last deck. It's not the last. I almost forgot this deck. I think, honestly, whatever. I almost forgot this deck. It had like fallen off of a shelf or like fallen behind something, and I didn't notice it for a bit, but when I saw it I was like, oh my god, how long have you been there, baby? Remembering the Sweet Fool. Yeah. I said when I first got this deck, I made a whole video about it, so if you're interested in me doing a walkthrough of the deck and gushing about it, that's the video. That's the video to watch. You know, talking about, I could do a 2-hour video, but yeah, so I remember when I made that video and I said it and I meant it, and it's very true that this deck is like made for me in a sense. I don't know, there's just something about it. It has this sort of, not sort of, it has ethereal energy completely down. Like this is ethereality to me. It's not, it glows, but it's not always happy, but it's a feeling, it's a sensation, it's a like the previous word I used, it's a texture. It's yeah, there's something, it's an extremely luminescent deck, and if there's something I love, it's luminance. I just love the way that light is depicted in a deck. That's why I love the Mermaid Tarot's art so much, is because it just, you can feel the warmth of the light in it. And speaking of that, like, and I love the way that Trisha has used objects and shapes and color to not only depict the meaning of the card, but to take it to this other realm. It feels like a deck of, it's a very specific realm, and I love when a deck does that, when it creates its own world. And there's, yeah, it's extremely special. It really is. It's really, 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 really special. And this deck is the primary. I created a reading around energy density for, not for this deck, but this deck is, I think, the best deck that I have for that kind of thing, for processing heavy things and sort of deciding how to move forward with it. I feel like it captures the feeling of things really well. So the feeling of an experience. So, you know, if I'm out looking at the flowers, or like, let's say, you know, I have a day, some time out in nature, and I feel so connected. I feel this sort of soft, tender feeling, and I see some flowers, and the grass brushes against me. Oh my goodness. And, you know, I have this sort of very incandescent experience. Instead of just having a picture of that experience or words to express that experience clearly, I'm not doing well with that. This deck, I feel like, captures the feeling behind it. It captures the feeling of an experience. And I don't know, I find that very, very special. It's extremely unique. It's a unique deck. I mean, I feel like there's really not much else out there like it. And it sort of opens up a world of possibilities and interpretations for each card, which I value immensely. And yeah, I mean, the color palette is stunning. It's beautiful to look at on the table. I mean, just, it's great. Like, what can I say? I also do like the court cards in this deck very much. I find them to be, they're really, really cool. Let me see if I can find a couple to show you. Okay, so here's one, not necessarily one that I was thinking of, but the Queen of Hills. I like the, oh, also, by the way, I really, really, really love this devil. I think it's really cool, and what I especially like about it is it feels connected to the Hierophant really well, which also has some sticks in it. That's a really bad explanation. Gosh, I guess the queens are the only ones that want to show themselves. I know I just showed a couple. I showed like the king a few seconds ago, or a few, whatever. Oh yes, here's the Son of Sticks. I find without people, which is what I love about this deck. There's no people in it. Oh, I love this. This is one of my favorites. One of my favorite court cards. As far as I think, I would say my favorites. Okay, let me put it this way. I love how for each deck I've kind of talked about, or have I for each, but I've kind of talked about something that I don't necessarily like, which is, you know, honest and real, because there's, you don't love everything about every single, or even your favorites. But I feel like the queens fall flat to me. Not fall flat, okay, maybe that's too strong. They're not as, they don't shine as much as the others, and I really love the sons, and I think this is my favorite son. And I really love the daughters. I really love the sons and daughters, and then I think it goes daughters, sons, kings, and queens. I think that's my general feel about it. The kings are pretty great, I will say. Maybe I think they're a little bit underrated on my part. I think they have a lot to offer. I just personally like the sun. My apologies, my battery died. I didn't notice it was low. But I will show you just two of the daughters that I could find really quick. Because apparently this battery doesn't have much either, unfortunately. Bad preparation on my part. But yeah, here are the two daughters that I really love. I find them stunning. Actually, I think one of the other daughters is right here. Yes. Yes, I also love the Daughter of Cups very much, which was one of my significators for quite some time. Or I should say my significator for a long time. But anyway, yeah, so that is the Remembering the Sweet Fool. Like I said, I'm doing something with it, so it's a little bit specific how I'm trying to like put it back together. Anyway, it's an incredibly special deck. I think it's amazingly done. I just give so much like love and respect to all of the creators of all of these decks, because they are just so close to my heart and soul. So I'm going to show another, maybe, I don't know how unexpected it's going to be. I did mention in my last video, so maybe it wouldn't be super unexpected. And if you've been on my channel, you may have heard me talk about it, but I haven't talked about it that much lately, other than my last video, which is the Tarot Romance Tropes. It is the Lua Tarot. This is the first edition. It is currently out of print. I mean, the first edition has been out of print for a while, but the deck itself, there was a second edition, and it's out of print right now. And the creator is just not selling any of their decks right now. And yeah, so this was just the deck that kind of, I wouldn't say it taught me. I know I've said like it taught me tarot. It's not necessarily that it sort of taught me, but it's the one that I connected with the tarot, and it sort of made sense to me, or like a personal connection. Like, whereas, you know, obviously I mean, I did learn on the Rider-Waite-Smith, so that was my first introduction to tarot, so that's what I did learn. But this deck was the one that was like, okay, now this is a deck that I can get on with, that I can read with, that feels readable, understandable, and my style. Not only that, it's not like it was the only one that did that, but I think what was also special about it was the way that it came into my life. Like, I had been attracted to black and white decks, and I really, really liked them, but they all felt very sharp, and, you know, there was a lot of contrast, you know, between the black and the white, like, and so I was like, man, like, I just feel like if I find a deck that has less contrast, like, I don't know, I'm really attracted to black and white decks, like, but I haven't found one that I really like, and I just want to find one. And when I came across this deck, it was signed, sealed, delivered. It was the one for me. And so I got it. I was so happy. It might have been, no, it was my first indie deck that I had ordered ever. And that also made it super special. I mean, a lot of these cards, so I spent, well, before I say this, I spent a lot of time for that reason with this deck, going through the meanings and sort of solidifying them for myself. So that's what I mean by like I learned tarot, this deck taught me tarot type of thing, is because yes, I had I had the foundation of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but this deck really solidified the meanings in a deeper way, and they vary just a little. So that's what made it sort of take precedence over the Rider-Waite-Smith, because I had that connection to the deck. And yeah, and the meanings of this deck really stuck with me. And yeah, so what I was going to say was that I've been on a journey with a lot of these cards as well. And so the reason why I thought of that was the Hierophant, because I remember, this is kind of for someone who came out of Christianity and religion and cult shit. Seeing this is like, maybe I don't like this card. Maybe this card is triggering. Maybe could you make it any more intense? But I had this whole moment where I was like, maybe the Hierophant is me. Like, maybe I'm the one who, like, I could be the one who holds the knowledge and the tradition and things like that. Like, it's sort of, instead of sort of thinking of this card as someone who is acting upon me, I don't even know how, but I had this sort of click moment of like, oh, maybe they're not acting on me. Maybe like I'm the one in the picture. And, not to say that I don't see myself in the picture, but it was this card that sort of facilitated that shift in perspective. And so I think forevermore, the Hierophant has a different, I don't read it as myself every time, but I have a more affectionate view of it. I don't know if affectionate is the right word, but, I have it opened the card for me. It made the card less intimidating, less triggering, I guess. And it just made me fall in love with the tarot in so many ways. I like the deck. It has its issues, but it's beautiful and I love it. And it's special to me. I love this tower. I kind of love to see a volcano in the tower, and I think it's because of this deck. This deck is the one that was like, ooh, a volcano for the tower is perfect. It's so perfect. That just made sense to me. And then on top of that, I know I've talked about it or I've alluded to it, but this card is also quite special because for me, it looks to me like my grandfather. He doesn't necessarily look like this, but when I saw it, I saw my grandfather, and that is a figure that's a person that has a lot of energy wrapped up in it. And to see him on the Nine of Cups was also extremely interesting. And so this deck took on so many layers. It has so many layers embedded within it through the years. I creased this Three of Wands, and so it showed up. It haunted me forever, and the crease is pretty much smoothed out. But for a while, I couldn't trust when I got that card because I was like, is it because of the crease or is it because it's the right card? Maybe the crease made it seem that I needed to see that card every single day. But I don't use it very often, but it will always be a beloved deck to me. Yeah, it will just always be. And this Emperor, yet another card that was just like, damn, did you have to? Did you have to do that? Yeah. So yeah, I love this deck very much. And I love that the twos, I believe they all, if I'm not mistaken, they all have two people on it, except for the Two of Pentacles, I believe. Yeah, but I like how they all have two people on it and they show partnership instead of showing two of the thing. And I said this in my recent video, I like when decks, I think because of this deck, I like when decks don't show the pips. I like when they show more of the meaning or more of a, you know, showing the meaning on its own. I really do like this Four of Swords too. I think it's really cool. It's very fairy tale like to me. Because it probably is. But anyway, I could go on and on and on and on. But yes, that is the Lua Tarot. I think the guidebook is really good for like a little white book kind of thing. I think it has, you know, really good. I like Marie's approach for the guidebook. So yeah, that's the Lua Tarot. And we have our last deck. I didn't want the Lua to be last, and that's why I just shared it there. But our last deck, I always start opening the deck before I've shown it. The Margaret Peterson. My trimmed copy, my only copy. You know, I kind of want to get a second copy. I just can't justify it. Because what would be the reason? Like, I can't see a time where I'm... that's not true. I was about to say, I can't see a time where I would want the bordered version more than my borderless version that I've made. Yeah, I've edged it in this orange. I did a few... I matched the backs. Which I haven't shown the backs of any of the other cards. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I matched the backs, so I did like a little bit, like a light orange, a dark orange, a little purple, a little pink, reddish type of thing. So that's what it looks like. And it shuffles really nicely. Like my trim on this, pretty good if I do say so myself. I really made the corners really soft. I think the thing about this deck that makes it what it is too is the trim. And I think that's why it's so important for me to mention, or why it's so natural for me to talk about it, is the trim really, I mean, it completely not changes the energy of the deck, but it really accentuates the abstract nature of the deck, because there's nothing to contain it. Sometimes that's kind of frustrating, but I've gone in and I've put all of the titles on, like I think the ace is down here, right? Yeah, so it's really, really, really tiny. So you can kind of barely see it, but it's there. And I did that because I thought I might use it as an oracle, but truly it was not realistic for me. This deck doesn't read like, at least, yeah, it doesn't read like an oracle to me. It's still very tarot, as abstract as it is. I don't see, it's not open-ended in that way, which is really interesting for me to say out loud. I think it contains the tarot while having a very fluid, completely different approach. I personally really like these more illustrated, like more, I don't know the word, but these cards that have a more or a less abstract approach to the image. I really like them. Sometimes they can be, it's a little bit hard when you're getting like a mix of cards, especially since the majority of the deck has this more abstract feeling. But I do like them a lot. They're a little easier to read, I will be honest. But it's funny because I keep referencing this video, my goodness, I don't know why. I can't stop. I know why, but I don't know why I can't stop doing it, or why it's just, actually I don't know why. Anyway, in my previous video, in the Tarot Men's video, I talked about, I had my, like my last prompt, or my second to last prompt, my penultimate prompt was the love triangle. So it was like decks that are in competition with each other, and I almost put this and the Heindel, and I think I talked about this in the Primal and Primordial decks. Anyway, I love to do a reference, jeez. Shameless plug constantly. It's just, it comes naturally, I'm sorry. But I could have put this, because I find these, while they're obviously very different, they feel similar in the fact that they have this sort of abstract approach, a very textured approach as well. Like in both the Heindel and the Margaret Peterson, especially with the more abstract images, you can see the texture of the canvas, or it just has a really I don't want to say canvas because maybe not all of the pieces are on canvas, but they seem very canvasy to me. But they're very textured. And oh my god, I love this card. I love this card. She's special. Anyway, that's the Mediatrix. That is the Temperance, Art, Alchemy, whatever you want to call that. I love that that card has so many different names. I'm kind of having a big moment with that particular card again, which is really interesting. I recently received that card in resetting up my altar with Osiris. So very interesting stuff going on. Anyway, with this deck, the abstract nature of it and I love this card. The poetry, the guidebook is so beautiful. As I'm sure either you know or you've heard, the majors all have a poem, and just the court cards are written. They are in daughter, son, mother, father format, and they also put the mother first, which I guess that's the theme in the decks that I like. But I kind of find that a little bit hard, not gonna lie. When I read the descriptions, I struggle with them a little bit because I think it's really cool, but it's not very intuitive for me. The way that it also mentions the other family members in the description of each. So like, in the Daughter of Flames, for an example, it says like, my mother gave the gift of song to me, my father inspiration, my brother rhythm. I think it's really cool, but oftentimes I'm not fully sure how to interpret that for a reading if I'm going to the guidebook. So it's not something that I focus too much on, and I really like the descriptions for the numbered cards as well. I think this deck is really special and beautiful, and like I said, I like a deck that makes you work a little bit for the meanings. This deck definitely does that. It calls out of me a different way of reading and being and holding the space. A lot of these decks feel very close to tarot reading as ritual. And I think that's something I've noticed in the way that I approach my tarot readings and just my tarot practice as a whole, is the more ritualistic I make the space that I hold the space in, just the better it is. And so that's not to say that, outside of that, it's not also great, because, tarot's always wonderful. But yeah, that's just something I'm noticing. And I feel like I'm also seeing that in the decks that I'm choosing. I feel like these decks definitely bring that side of me and that approach out of me. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Those are my top 8 decks. I hope I showed all 8. If not, then I'll be jumping in the future. But anyway, I think I did. I don't know why I'm acting like I don't know. Anyway, this has kind of also been all over the place. A lot of like side commentary. But yeah, I'm super, super grateful for you being here, for you watching. Thank you so much. And I will see you again soon. I love you dearly.